The massive verdict that has come out of the Bombay High Court just a while back, where the court has struck down the centre's fact-check unit that the centre wanted to establish across departments to fact-check what they called false and misleading information. This decision, remember, is followed by is preceded, beg your pardon, by a split judgment in January this year, which was by a division bench of Justices Gautam Patel and Justice Neela Gokhale. And Justice Patel had said that there is infringement of speech, while Justice Gokhale had said that the concerns of potential bias is in the fact-check units are unfounded. And now, of course, the tie-breaker verdict now coming in. All right, on the broadcast, I'm joined by Manish Tiwari of the Congress Party. Manish Tiwari, good evening. Namaskar. Your first reaction to this massive setback to the centre regarding the fact-check units?
I have not read the Mumbai High Court judgment, but going by what your colleague has told me, if they have held the fact-check unit to be violative of Article 14 and Article 19 of the Constitution of India, I think it's a step in the right direction. Fact-checking can be a very, very slippery slope. You know, whose facts, who's checking, you know, what will you try and control in the name of fact-checking. And so, therefore, it was going to open up a Pandora's box. I would, of course, peruse the judgment. I would go through it carefully. Suffice to say that whatever your colleague has told me, based upon that, it's a welcome step. Hello.
Mr. Tiwari, you know, you've been an information and broadcasting minister yourself as well. Can I also understand from you then, I'm sure that, you know, as the INB minister, there are several sorts of information that come to your ministry, that come to your table as well. How do you deal with and how do you segregate then as to what is fake and what is true? How does the government then deal with it if not a fact-check unit?
Well, we never used to check facts. See, these are all control mechanisms. As I earlier said, whose facts? Your facts could be very different from my facts. If I don't like your facts, you know, can I circumscribe you and censor you? So therefore, it depends upon what your approach is. Our approach to the media was always a very liberal approach. We allowed, you know, dissent, criticism, critique to blossom, often at our own peril and at our own cause. But as the Information and Broadcasting Minister, it was never my remit to try and fact-check and use fact-checking as a surrogate means of censoring stuff which was uncomfortable.
You know, Mr. Tiwari, I absolutely understand where this is coming from and, you know, why this is needed, that the government should not be censoring stuff that makes it uncomfortable. But like you said, you know, what is freedom of speech and expression, what is the kind of information that goes out is very subjective. The government can argue from its place that, you know, these are subjective things and there is a lot of bias also happening, considering that this is an era of social media. How does then one speak for the government? Where does the government's point of view then be placed? How will it be placed?
The government's point of view is circumscribed by a judgment of the Supreme Court going back to 1950, when the First Amendment to the Constitution happened and the reasonable restrictions were put into Article 19. If I remember from the top of my head, there was the celebrated editor, Mr. Upper, and there was this case with regard to the mainstream weekly. And so from then on, the courts have ruled consistently, and this area is absolutely very well mapped out by judicial decisions and has been distilled. So therefore, all that you need to do is follow the law.
Also, Mr. Tiwari, one of the arguments in this entire case has been given, why does the government need fact-check units when it already has agencies like the Press Information Bureau and the national broadcasters like Doordarshan? But are they well equipped to deal with the kind of, social media times we live in and the kind of information that keeps coming in, keeps trickling in from all quarters?
Well, I created the new media wing, or what you call the social media wing of information broadcasting industry in 2030. All you need to do is to upscale it and see that you have enough credibility that people go to it if they have any doubt with regard to the veracity of a certain news item. Right? So therefore, putting out what is factually correct from, let's say, a government's perspective is very different from fact-checking. I will put out the facts as I understand them. But am I or should I be authorized to check your facts as you understand
them? Okay. All right. We'll leave it there. Thank you very much, Mr. Manish Tiwari, for joining us on Mirror Now and sharing your perspective on this massive verdict that has come in from the Bombay High Court. Ladies and gentlemen, the former Union INB minister speaking about, the kind of experiences that the ministry has had, the government has had with information, saying that, of course, this is something that should have been avoided in the first place. But let me quickly tell you what has happened. The Bombay High Court has struck down the establishment of fact-check units by the centre. It has said that it violates Article 14 and 19, that of right to equality and right to freedom of speech and expression. This is, remember, coming in after a January verdict. That was a split verdict this year that came in. And the tiebreaker judgment, in fact, has come in from the Bombay High Court today, which was given by single judge Justice Atul Chandurkar, who said he served as the tiebreaker after that split verdict in January this year. And he has ruled that the amendments violated the fundamental rights enshrined in the Indian Constitution. So this is basically a massive setback, ladies and gentlemen, for the centre, which was meaning to establish fact-check units to counter what it called false and misleading information against its policies and schemes. Now, remember, the petitioners in this case were Editors Guild as well as stand-up comedian and Kunal Kamra. And what they had argued was that this causes chilling effect on the freedom of speech and expression, muzzles speech, dissent against the central government. Determination of fake news cannot be in the sole hands of the government, and it will result in the censorship of the press. It also has a chilling effect on media and should be withdrawn. That's what the petitioners had argued, and that argument has today been upheld by the Bombay High Court.